Good afternoon, world. It's moments past noon in Waxahachie, Texas, on an absolutely beautiful day. Today is the 19th of August. It's a Tuesday. We're doing episode number 84 of The Greatness of Grit and Good News. And we're in our palatial downtown studio here in the shadows of the historic Ellis County Courthouse. And my name is Jeff Lynch. Ably and capably working the board is our man Sam. There's the couple fingers. And to my right, what are we wearing today? U.S. Open Oakmont and Buffalo Bills hat.
Yeah, go Bills.
Our man,
We hope
Scott Brooks.
Yeah, thank you, bud. Good to have you back.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. It's Grit and Good News every Tuesday and Thursday, noon to 1 o'clock Central Standard Time, Texas time. We ought to have our own time. I guess in some ways we do, but we're glad you're here. Thankful that you're here. We enjoy you being here, and we like to talk about a number of different things in a very practical way. And we're going to be talking practical today for sure. So thank you for that. You can catch us on Substack.com under Grit and Good News as well, where you'll get a boatload of content, far more than our show, but you'll get columns, poems, links to other content that we think you will find interesting. Go to Substack.com, search Grit and Good News, and you'll find us there for $5 a month.
Comes out every Monday and Friday.
Yeah, every Monday and Friday mornings, you'll get an email, and there it is. So
you think that's a lot for $5?
That is a lot for
I'd
$5.
say so.
We spend an awful lot of time on it for $5.
That's right.
But we want readers. We want to expose people to the things we think, so that we can hear what you think. Anyway, there you have it. And it is a beautiful day out there.
No doubt.
Yeah. So the Bills. I'm a Cowboys and a Bills fan. Not that this matters to anybody, but my apparel splits. Actually, these days it probably goes more Bills than Cowboys. However, we did write a column on, when was it, was it yesterday or Friday? On Friday, about Jerry Jones and why people like me, I was born in Dallas, raised in Dallas, went to see the Cowboys play when they wore white helmets with the blue star in the old Cotton Bowl in Fair Park, and have been a fan ever since, even for the past 30 years. We wrote a column and a poem about Jerry, the bottleneck, billionaire bottleneck, why it's so hard to be a Cowboys fan. I just don't understand why it has to be so hard. I love being a Bills fan because I know that the product they're putting out on the field is awesome and it's going to be exciting. When I watch the Cowboys, I go into it with, oh, this is going to be such a burden to watch because I never know if they're going to win.
So many people think in any sport you should only have one team to pull for, and I've always disagreed. I've always said you should always, no matter what, pull for the team where you're living.
Yeah.
And if you want and you have allegiance to where you grew up, where you went to college, some other place, it was my dad's favorite team. It's okay to have double allegiance. Do you have just one friend in the world? Do you just want one friend in the world?
Yeah, I agree. Particularly if you've lived in a lot of different places, particularly if you've lived in more than one place, but and say I've lived in 5 different places. If I've lived in one of those as long or longer than my original city, it's people like Buffalo. People say, well, why do you like the Buffalo Bills? Well, I live there. I've seen, I don't know, 10 times the number of games the Buffalo Bills have played than I have the Dallas Cowboys.
Right.
And so, and I know the team as well as I do the Cowboys, and I have friends that keep me engaged. So anyway.
And you know what? I'm going to build on that concept with this. In my many years of going to Stars games, as we know, I have a lot of other jerseys that aren't Dallas Stars, and I'll be up and I'll be wearing whatever team. You're a Toronto Maple Leafs fan? Are you from there? No, I'm not from there. Well, why are you wearing that jersey? Because my love of hockey, the greatness of all of hockey, supersedes my love of just the Dallas Stars.
It's the greater good.
And they go, well, I guess it makes some sense.
Yeah. I get it. I really do get it.
Do you want to smush it real quick?
Where is it?
Turn around right there on the wall. Oh
yeah.
Okay.
I get it.
He smacked it.
We had insects. We had ants recently. Now we got flies.
Well, Sammy, the other day we were in front of our office building across the street.
Yeah.
And up on Sammy's a weenie, but up on our overhang, were a bunch of wasps,
In a big old
probably
wasp
8 of
nest.
them.
Yeah.
Well, they were building the nest. The nest wasn't there, but they were building
Right.
it. And I said, we got to get rid of that. I don't want some visitor to be stung. And Sammy said, what are you going to do? I said, I'm going to hit it. And so I just walked up with my hand and went, bam. And Sammy's freaking out.
They
I think
attack you.
I
They
think
remember your
his-
face.
I think his skirt
They
ripped.
remember your face. Remember that,
Yeah.
Scott.
Sammy's skirt ripped as he ran away.
All right. Do we
What
want
do
to
you
do
got for
numbers?
84?
Anyway, let's hear number 84. I already
Number
know one.
84. All right.
Antonio Brown.
Not starting with him. I'm starting
Oh.
with Randy Moss, the great.
Oh, yeah.
Vikings, right? Mostly Patriots a little bit.
Yep.
I think.
Wide
And then we
receiver,
got
yeah.
Shannon Sharp.
Yeah.
And it didn't tell me his team, and I didn't know off
Well,
the top of my head.
Shannon, I can't remember. Shannon played for the Denver Broncos.
Just most notably.
Yeah.
Just
Okay.
inducted into the Pro
No,
Football
that
Hall.
was his.
Sterling. I thought that
Which one's Sterling?
I have him
I
on
thought
here.
Sterling just went in and Shannon was already there, and so they're one of the
What
the
number is
rare.
Sterling?
Sterling Sharp is a Packers wide receiver, number 84.
Sterling is the brother that just went in. Shannon is the one who played for the Broncos.
He just got fired off of ESPN.
Yeah, he did.
Um,
He's the one who in his not commencement speeches, acceptance speech.
Mhm.
This is Shannon, whose older brother Sterling got hurt in 1994 and had to retire. I thought it was one of the best statements I've ever heard a brother say about another brother. He
Okay.
said, "We are the only brother combination to make it into the Hall of Fame."
That's what I was trying to
that's
say. Yeah.
cool.
But then he said, that isn't it. Then he said, and what's crazy is that this is before his brother got inducted. He said, I'm in the Hall of Fame, but in my family, I'm the second most talented
I love it.
receiver.
So
Isn't that cool?
Sterling got injured,
Yeah,
had
neck.
to
Hurt his
retire.
neck. Mhm.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So yeah, Sterling was on there. Before that was Antonio Brown.
Yeah.
When
Whack
focused,
job.
he was
good.
great.
Yeah.
And then this last one of the NFL side, I don't know. Oh no, he was Jay Novacek.
Like tight end for the
Cowboys.
Cowboys.
Yeah, in the 1990s.
He was good.
And then
And
NHL.
he was a team goat roper. He was
He was
quite
a cowboy.
accomplished
He
in the rodeo
He literally
scene.
was a cowboy.
He
yeah.
was a cowboy.
Yeah.
And then NHL, there was only one. I don't suppose he's the best to ever wear that number. Mikhail Grabowski for Toronto. I don't even know if you know him.
Never heard of it.
Never heard of him. Yeah,
No.
there's not any for basketball, not really any for NHL.
Yeah. It's other sports. So
Mikhail Grabowski. So
interesting. All right. Thank you, bud.
yeah.
All right. So real quick update on the Cowboys. The Cowboys played the other night. Looked awful, in my opinion.
Yeah, Joe Milton is probably a better wide receiver than I would say quarterback.
Yeah, well, we're gonna have to back up quarterback. I mean, I don't know who our third string is
No, I don't know.
because we shipped Cooper off to Ravens, and he started the other night.
And then we had,
And then Trey Lance went to Chargers, maybe.
I think it was the Chargers.
Yeah.
And what's funny is Cooper Rush threw a pick 6 to the Cowboys.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, and
that's funny.
He's still
Yeah,
throwing.
so we've got to have a backup quarterback, obviously with Dak back there. Who it'd be interesting to see how long he makes it injury free. But the Cowboys, I don't know. It's that what we'd opened with. It's just hard to embrace them, and Jerry makes it hard, and I don't understand why he wants to do that. Granted, he may want to own the richest. Maybe his pursuit in life was to say, I own the world's most valued sports franchise, and if that's it, so be it. But that's not it for Jerry. He wants to be seen as the greatest GM/owner in sports history, and he's not going to be that. He's never going to be anything like the Rooneys in Pittsburgh.
Right.
He's never going to be anything like Steinbrenner was a problem for all those years, but Steinbrenner had 20 some odd world championships.
But you know,
for the
we
Yankees.
don't get ourselves take away the Jerry issue. We don't get ourselves too worked up over preseason games.
No, we don't.
But that's one reason why I always give away my preseason tickets, because I can get about 10-12% of face value for them.
Cowboys are usually not good in preseason, right?
Well, I mean, teams really don't. You know, you can't judge a team by its preseason. However, when you're in search of a backup quarterback to an injury-prone starter, you better use the preseason to figure out what you got.
Yeah.
And right now, Joe Milton's got a cannon.
He could throw it 800 yards, but he can't throw it to the right person.
It's like I used to tell people in business: if you have a great idea for a client, but your presentation's all wacky, you're the same as a pitcher who can throw the ball 180 miles an hour but can't throw it over the plate.
Mhm.
It's irrelevant. And that's what Joe Milton
And
is.
there's no update on Micah yet, is there?
No, I think it's planned.
Yeah.
I think Jerry Jones, so the Cowboys play this week against Atlanta.
Here.
Next, here, is it here? And then the next 2 weeks, they're off until,
September 4th.
yeah. So I think sometime next week, Jerry Jones will sign Micah Parsons. And it's a
He
joke.
better. He better.
It's a joke to wait this long. All right, and then we got the Rangers. There's another one. Golly, since our July shows, I was talking about the Rangers are doing again what they did in 2023. We're World Series
Yeah.
bound. We're going to have a
Yeah.
great run. And now, and maybe we did this in 2023, and I don't remember it, but right now they suck.
No, they started rocking in early August.
Yeah. So maybe
yeah.
maybe there's still hope, but right now as we were talking before the show started,
37 games left. 6.5 behind in the wild card race.
and 5 teams to leapfrog.
Yeah.
We're going to have to win probably 70% of those games to have a
That's a lot.
chance.
That's
That
a
is a
lot.
lot. And then we got the pitching staff to do it. I see where we got rid of John Gray and his long hair. But anyway, so there you have it with the Rangers. Jeff just got back from Syracuse. They just named their quarterback, who's a new kid transfer from Notre Dame, starter for Syracuse. Anyway,
Nice.
your trip, you want us to give a 2-minute version?
Yeah, I'll try to keep it to that. Flew up on Friday night American on one of the very rare nonstops. I turned down $1,125 in American credit to not take the bump because all the flights are always connecting flights. I thought I'll never get to a 4 o'clock Saturday party if I try to leave on Saturday morning. Got up there. A couple of my cousins picked me up, dropped me off at the hotel where I checked in quickly and walked across the street to the great Irish bar, Katie Hoynes, and closed the bar down with the three cousins that were there, Stephen, Tom, and Megan, and they shut it down early at 12:30 because they thought there was just too much riffraff around the streets that night, and they wanted to get out early.
We don't want riffraff.
Don't want it riffraff. The next morning, the next day, I went. Um, my cousin Sue, my mom and my mom and my aunt's cousin, so she's my first cousin once removed, picked me up and we went down to the farmer's market. I've never seen a farmer's market like it. The produce was gorgeous. I did a little sampling. The cantaloupe was out of this world. They had fresh flowers. They had potted plants. They had everything you could want. It was all gorgeous. It was all reasonable. It was wonderful. We went to a town legend called Hyde's for a Cooney, which is a white hot dog, and it's out of this world. We went back to her house to chit chat. We started chit chatting about family history and whatnot, and this person and that person. And she said, the cemetery's 5 minutes from here. Are you kidding me? So we went, we saw the cemetery. We saw a plot that my Uncle Jake had bought, I think back in the 30s, and now there's about 10 different people who have a
Yeah.
plot there, including my great grandfather, who was born in 1838 and died in 1928, and they got him in there too, and he's the one that really brought the family over from. It was really Syria at the time before it ever was called Lebanon, and so that was a tremendous, great moving experience. And did you throw up that picture there of that? Um, Latif is the family name. My grandmother's name was Etal because she married an Etal, but her maiden name coming across was Latif, and so all these relatives really
Yeah.
are Latifs. And so that was great. And then it was off to the party at my Uncle Ernie's for his 90th, and he was so touched and moved and gracious and thrilled that I had made the trip, and I reminded him how much he meant to me. I had written a nice poem, and when I went to type it up the day before I left, I couldn't find it, and I couldn't recreate it in my head, and so I just wrote a very shortish poem about losing a poem that I'd written about about so many great things that everybody else knew already.
Yeah.
So it didn't really matter, and
Right.
it just dealt with really my feelings for
And
him.
he was your dad's brother?
No, he's my mom's
Mom's
brother.
brother. Yeah.
My mom's dad died when she was 12,
Got
and
it.
she was first, and Ernie was second, and
Got it.
Elizabeth, who was here for,
Yeah.
um, and so after that, I went home that night to Elizabeth's house with her in Skinny Atlas, about 20 miles southwest of Syracuse, and we took the boat cruise. And you've been on a little town cruise in a bus and things
Hmm.
like that. They always know what's going on. But this guy, he owned the boat. We don't have tickets on our phone. You know, she calls up, she makes a reservation. He's got a list. Elizabeth E.
Yeah.
call check. Boom, you come in.
Yeah.
Little did I know this guy is the boat captain. Sam's gonna pull up a couple of pictures. He knows about all these houses and all these. Okay, well, these three in a row were all owned by the Roosevelts,
Oh, wow.
and the rich people along there, the houses, they're unbelievable. The water is crystal clear. It was the best touristy boat thing I'd ever
What is
been.
the body of water?
It's Scanny Atlas
Oh,
Scanny
lake.
Atlas
A lake.
Lake,
Okay.
and it's 16 miles wide, long, a mile and a half wide at the widest, 315 feet deep,
Wow.
crystal clear water. Just
Nice.
and I'm telling you what a place to live.
Yeah.
There's a village and a town, and the village is where Elizabeth lives, and that's where the little downtown next to it is, with about 2,700. The town's about 7,100. So you got 10 between them. They got three indoor hockey rinks.
Yeah.
You
Imagine
know,
that.
which may
Well,
lead us
cool.
a little bit to my poem later on.
Yeah. Very good. Well, I'm glad you had a good time.
Yeah.
Syracuse is a wonderful city. Most people down here have never, I mean, they've heard of it, probably don't know how to say it. Some never heard of it. Some wouldn't know how to say most of those names up there. But Syracuse, I've found, having lived in Buffalo all those years, to be a really nice place. It was always funny to us because back then, it may have changed since then, but back in the 90s, if you looked up what cities in the country received the most snow or in the state of New York, people would automatically say Buffalo.
Right.
That's not true. It's
Syracuse
Syracuse.
Emerald.
Syracuse in New York.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, yeah,
okay.
where
It's
Syracuse University is in the Carrier Dome, which is I don't know if they still call it that, but
no,
it's a
it's got a
dome.
new name.
It's a sponsor. Yeah,
Oh, well, and I lost my train of thought. Go
that's
ahead.
all right. Well, anyway, I'm glad you had a good time. So, one other thing before we get to our agenda, Sammy and I have this little debate going. So, I want to test people out there, and oh, well, I won't steal it though. But it has to do with
Let's save it for his
being okay.
random
But
thoughts.
I just want to tell people what it has to do with. It has to do with what would you do if your general manager of a football team and something happened. That's what we're going to do. That's what I'm talking about. Is that what you're talking
Well, no,
about?
you can say it. We
Well,
can talk
yeah. So
about
the
it.
idea is if I own a if I it's, here's the premise. I said to Sammy when we were talking about the football game, the Cowboys football game, that somehow led us to the New York Giants. And I said this Jackson Dart, quarterback number 2, the second string quarterback at New York, who's a rookie out of Ole Miss, who played really well at Ole Miss. Cool kid, good looking kid, Johnny Sunshine kind of thing. Uh, he's following behind Russell Wilson in New York. And I said, Jackson Dart at some point this year is going to start for the New York Giants. And Sammy said, no, he's not. Russell Wilson's going to
I,
play the whole year. And I'm like, okay, I'll make a deal with you. Take the injury stuff out of it. Just say it based on performance alone. I'll pay you, Sammy, $5 for every game that Russell Wilson starts in New York, and you pay me $5 for every game Jackson darts. And Sammy's like, well, okay, that sounds good to me.
well,
I said, wait a minute. I said, so let me ask you this. Let's say the Giants, and this isn't far fetched for the Giants, it's happened, right? They come out 0-3. I said, what are you going to do, Sammy? What are you going to do when your fan base is going berserk? Your ownership's going equally berserk. Your team is in the can. What are you going to do as a GM? What are you going to do? 0-3.
0-3 with Russell Wilson throwing 8 touchdowns and 12 interceptions, or 0-3 with Russell Wilson
It doesn't
throwing
matter.
13.
Doesn't matter. 0-3. What are you going to do?
If Russell's playing good, I'm keeping Russell in.
Okay. So that's what you're going to do.
I'm
You're
gonna
going to
do.
keep
And
Russell in.
I have a question for you.
Hey, Terry, welcome, bud.
What's 5 times 17? Because that's how
5
much
times
I'm getting.
105.
That's how much I'm getting.
So, okay.
I'm
Well,
telling
we'll
you.
see.
Didn't they
Five,
teach you to do multiplication? And you just take your pen down, you write them out, you multiply them out. Come on,
Yeah,
Sam.
you just ask Siri.
yeah.
But anyway, so that's the deal. I
So I give you $5 when Russell Wilson gets taken out or benched for every game that Dart plays starts.
starts. Both of them start. Not that they play in, they
Start.
start. And again, I want to ask you one more time because at some point you're going to be running a company. You're 0 and 3.
There's
You're 0 and
dependables.
3.
It
What are you
depends.
going to do?
It depends.
Okay. Chances if you're 0 and 3, you're not going to have 84 touchdowns and 1 interception by your mediocre quarterback.
Listen up. Money talks, everything else walks. Okay. You got 40 million here and you got 4 million there. You're going to play your $40 million quarterback. And I tell you, it's just what happened last year.
Nay, nay, nay,
When
nay.
Dak was playing crummy, then he went down, and the boy wonder Cooper Rush came in and rallied that team, rallied that team, rallied that team. And when Dak was ready to play, Dak was playing because
Yeah,
you spent the 40 and you want to get your 40 worth of it.
y'all have lost your ever loving
I
mind.
know you saw that throw that Russell Wilson made in that
Right?
game.
Okay,
He
one
threw
throw
a
out of 1
80-yard
throw,
dot.
one
He's still
throw.
here.
So anyway, if I'm if just to be clear, if I'm the general manager or the owner, out goes my quarterback, in comes my superstar, and I'm going to get rid. First of all, I'd never signed Russell Wilson to that much money. Secondly, I'm not going to hold on to him and be 0 and 8. I'm going to say Jackson Dart's the dude. That's what Denver did.
So what if you go out the gate and your line is horrible, can't block? And Russell's doing okay. You're gonna throw in your rookie quarterback with a horrible
Who
line.
can run? Russell Wilson is.
What if he gets hurt?
I'm more mobile than Russell Wilson.
Well, we better not lose the big portion of our audience that
All
doesn't
right.
care about football at
All right,
all.
there you go. All right, so let's talk about Lamar Jackson and God. So this week there was a story about Lamar Jackson who has not been shy about professing his love for God, his allegiance to God, commitment to God.
And who is Lamar Jackson?
Lamar Jackson, starting quarterback for the Baltimore Ravens, uh, played college football at a high level. I think he won the Heisman Trophy at Louisville. He's you look at him and you
And
say,
you know what?
oh,
That's not like a
no, it's not.
school, and to get a Heisman there
Yeah,
is
it's
doubly
saying
good.
something. I mean, he's a great athlete, great player, he's a run threat. You know, the threat on he's got speed, he's got passing accuracy, good arm, he's smart. I mean, all those things. You look at him and you wonder what he's thinking half the time, you know. But he can play, and so he's one of these athletes who, and I make the same claim about those who are super wealthy. Uh, the more famous you are and the wealthier you are, you have a tendency to be tempted more to forget about God. Is the premise for my belief, and so a lot of people who like me who have worked really hard, uh, God knows that not to give me anything. Or I think God loves me enough, all of us enough to say, I'm not going to give you anything that's going to take you away from me. So if I give you a ton of money, you're going to think you did it on your own. You're going to be haughty and you're going to run off and do what a lot of people who have money do. And same with fame. So, but more and more these days, which is kind of an irony in our society, has gone to hell. We have more and more. It seems to me more and more people standing up for having a relationship with God. Lamar Jackson's one of them. So Lamar Jackson retweets this week. The story was evoked by him retweeting a Charlie Kirk, is one of Sammy's favorites. Sammy, who's Charlie Kirk?
Charlie Kirk is a conservative. I don't even know what you call him. He's not he's a political guy. He does YouTube, goes to
A talking
campuses.
head.
Talking head.
Yeah,
Yes.
and he goes to campuses.
Goes to campuses around the world, like college campuses, and just preaches to the youth.
And
See where
debates
their
on-
mind. Yeah,
yeah.
open mic. They can say whatever, do whatever.
Right.
And the message was, I think it's all about Jesus.
Yeah,
3 words.
So Charlie Kirk posts that on X. Lamar Jackson retweeted it, and Lamar Jackson gets hammered. Part of the group, one half of the group, or not half, but one aspect of the group that was hammering him because he was using Twitter to profess his faith for Christ. In that case, that's probably a group made up of either agnostics, atheists, those who don't want religion, don't care for religion, don't like religion. That's one group. The other group was or is these folks who believe Charlie Racist is the devil himself and racist and all this other stuff. But whatever the group people are in, the dynamic here was that Lamar Jackson uh, wants to use his platform to spread the gospel of Jesus to a lost world, and he's being hammered for it.
Exactly. And we had a little discussion about this before, and I didn't have much of an answer for your question, and I thought it through, and I think I have it pretty well answered. So Lamar made reference to the quote, and it's found in all four of the Gospels that a prophet is not known in his own hometown. And we're thinking, well, how
Yeah.
does that really apply? And here's what I decided. You know, Jesus, born in a manger, son of a carpenter, grows up, and when his ministry starts, he quietly starts doing miracles, and he doesn't want people to know.
Yeah.
But then the word's getting out, and he doesn't care if it goes. Okay, so now everybody knows it's that Jesus, son of the carpenter, who's doing these miracles. But he says he's the son of God.
Mhm.
And so a prophet is not known in his own hometown. For him to declare that he's the son of God, is they knew him in his own hometown, but they didn't know him as the son of God. And so I think that's the point that Lamar is making. I won the Heisman. I'm famous. I'm a quarterback. I'm well known. But you know what? That's not really what it's about to me. What
Yeah.
was your quote? He said it's all about
It's all
Jesus.
about
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what he was saying
Yeah.
by that, and
I agree.
and in that context, I really love it.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. You know, to further your point, it's what got Jesus crucified. Him, him, his miracles being found out, being witnessed, people talking, people sharing, his boldness and saying, "Look, I've come to save this world. I am the Son of God," and it's the theologians of the time, the Pharisees and others, who said, and the agnostics and the atheists, of course, who said, "No way." That's what got him crucified. And
and the fulfillment of the
yeah,
prophecies
that's right. Yeah,
over all the Old Testament time.
yeah. And as we're told, you know, we those of us who love Christ and profess His name will be prosecuted in a lot of different ways. That can happen. Lamar Jackson's being persecuted. Did I say prosecuted? I meant
yeah.
persecuted. Persecuted. He's being persecuted in this way, and that is, you ought to know who it is you're retweeting. First of all, I know the premise of whether smoke there's fire, but there's not. I don't know of anything that Charlie Kirk, other than being provocative and compelling, that would say he's racist.
I think it's his stance on DEI.
Yeah,
A lot of people do not like that
yeah,
because of how he kind of says it, but
yeah.
I stand with him.
Well,
But
I
I
mean,
just
we're not fans of DEI in this room, and none of
no,
us are racist.
yeah,
Uh, if the roles were reversed, if more white people were getting something because they're simply because of the color of their skin, then we would be equally against it.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's what's going on. I think it's an interesting story. One, it gives me renewed. I've never really liked Lamar Jackson, largely because he faces the Bills 2 or 3 times a year,
yeah,
and
You
usually
know,
has a takes his, you
yeah.
know. And matter of fact, that's who the Bills open up with
Mm-hmm.
on September the 7th,
Mm-hmm.
Sunday night against the at home against the Ravens.
did Tim Tebow win the Heisman?
Yeah,
He was kind of a bust as a pro,
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but he took a lot of heat
he
He
for
did.
his
did.
Christianity,
It was
Big
and
time.
his eye black.
Yeah,
yeah,
He
yeah, he
put the
took a big
John 6 3 John, yeah.
316. Yeah, he
yeah.
did. And there are others. I mean, look at the kicker for Harrison. Is it Harrison Butker for the Chiefs, who came out and
Oh yeah,
stood for his wife being a stay-home mom and
Oh yeah.
anti-abortion and
yeah,
all those
yeah.
things. He took a big time, and his coaches stood behind him. But anyway, I think our society needs what Lamar Jackson is giving it, and yet there's always going to be that segment that says, "I don't want that medicine. I'm not taking that medicine. That medicine's nasty. It won't make me better." Blah blah blah, and they only get worse. Yes, Sammy, anything else?
Yeah, I don't understand that people don't like it because they think he's reposting something from a racist. I
Yeah.
get it if you're atheist or agnostic and you don't like that message, but
Yeah.
Charlie's not. There's no proof that he's a racist. I mean,
Well, the thing about racists, I don't know too many racists that are around promoting God,
yeah.
frankly.
Right.
Anyway, there you have it. So let's talk Trump. First of all, let's talk about we talked last Thursday about Trump and Putin meeting the next day in
Right.
Alaska.
Right.
We haven't talked obviously because we our first show post meeting in Alaska is today. First, what did you think of the dynamics, meaning the ambiance, the layout of the red carpet and the bombers flying over our head and all that? What did you think of the way that was all set up?
A show of might.
Yeah. You think Putin got it? I mean,
How could you miss it?
Putin could only dream of having that kind of armory above him. I'm sure he's got powerful armory and militia, but not like that. Uh, and I think the bomber he saw was the bomber that blew apart. With the 30,000 pound bomb.
They honored that pilot by saying, "Okay, we'll give you this."
Yeah,
Yeah.
come come. What do they call that? Buzz, air buzz, or what? Something. The tower.
Yeah.
And they did it with Putin. Uh, So, is there anything else about either from either of you about that meeting that you last Friday that you found interesting?
I had a pretty big weekend and I didn't even see it at all. I didn't see it
Well, it was a
happen. Didn't.
closed door meeting, so they were in there 3 hours. The idea was Trump made it clear that the idea was to have this meeting so that it would lead to a next meeting and then a third meeting. So the idea, uh, we had the first meeting for 3 hours. Uh, they didn't achieve anything of substance in terms of like a peace agreement or ceasefire,
Okay.
but I don't know if that's what they were trying to do. But now there was a meeting yesterday, at the White House between Zelensky, well, not between, but with Zelensky, Trump, and several European leaders.
All
Uh,
the key ones:
yeah, all the key ones. That
Britain,
meeting,
France, Germany, Italy.
the European Union and the NATO guy was there, the one who called Trump a daddy,
And Zelensky's Ukraine, right?
Zelensky, Ukraine. So they were all in a room. I don't know how long that lasted, probably a couple hours. That meeting is now leading to a meeting between just Zelensky and Putin in
Mm.
terms of, I shouldn't say just, but because there'll be other dignitaries in the room of their government, their administrations, but it won't include America in that meeting.
Mhm.
So it's between those two war-torn countries that are suffering great expense on the battlefield, economically, militarily, human. It's just awful, and that
It's going to be tough for Trump not to be there, but I think he knows that he can't be there, and he can't be babysitting every word either one of them says, and he knows he'd have a hard time not doing that. And he knows that ultimately those two have to decide, what are we able to do? What are we able to give up?
yeah.
And land is obviously going to be a big part of that.
Yeah,
Um,
that's very well said. Trump has said that meeting between the two of those two countries will then lead to what would be a fourth meeting and final meeting that includes Trump, and that will be to secure whatever deal, uh, the components of the deal that those two discuss uh, in that fourth meeting is to come out with a deal that's permanent and that sticks.
yeah, it's amazing how things interweave. And I was reading a little bit in the paper about the state of the Crimea and some of the history, much of it which I knew, but the key part being that when they went in 2012 and took that, and Obama was president, and Obama didn't do anything.
Well, he sent sheets over to Ukraine so they could stay warm. Blankets.
Yeah, sheets and bombs, right? So the whole thing about the Crimea is, again, we had some of this discussion last time. Remember this: all of that was once part of the original Russia.
That's right.
Okay, and and Russia historically has needed, wanted, and coveted a port to the Black Sea.
Mhm.
All that other area, and all the way, got China on the one side,
Yeah.
and they reach up there, way up there in the Pacific. That ain't no great port, right?
Right.
But they need the port to the sea, and when they had that back under control, they had that. Now, that's no better than your ability to get to that port, right? And it's a big part of why Russia came down the east side of the Ukraine.
Yes.
Okay, they could have come more central and gone down to Kiev, the capital.
Hmm.
Well, we don't care about the capital. We care about the port.
Yeah.
That's where the grain comes. That's where all the commerce is,
Yeah.
and that's the thing. It's going to be hard in sorting out what happens land wise with what Ukraine is willing to give up and what Russia wants.
Yeah. The eastern part of Ukraine, western part of Russia sits on a sea or is adjacent to a sea. The east part of, yeah, eastern Ukraine, western Russia. And so it's the eastern part of Ukraine.
But the part of Russia never touches that sea.
Yeah, it's not their port.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I didn't mention it as a
Yeah.
port. But the Crimea, I'm working on a column for
It's a
next
peninsula.
Friday. Yeah. So you got places like Crimea. I don't know how to say these names right, but I've studied them. I studied enough to know that what I'm talking about, at least in some simple, practical way. But you got Crimea, Donetsk, I think that's how it's said, and then Luhansk, which are the three areas. We almost always only hear about Crimea. That's a popular, we know that territory, and then we've heard of Donetsk. Um, it's often spelled a different way and said a different way, but it's the same area. But that's a three-part region that uh, Putin wants. And so the question is whether or not, and I think Trump is okay with them having it, whereas Zelensky has said, we're not giving up any more of our land. Really, what it's going to come down to, in my opinion, again, as practical flyover country mentality as there is that it's going to, for Putin, it's going to come down to land on the eastern side of Ukraine. For Ukraine, it's going to be security and that it all stops, that everything stops, and that we have a guaranteed security from any attack, permanent,
And there's
going
an
forward.
issue about whether peacekeeping forces by NATO
Yeah,
will be allowed to be there to keep the peace. And,
right.
going back to that land and going back to the history, that much of that eastern part is dominated by Russian
True.
speaking people.
That's true. They
And
are Russian.
and
Yeah.
and even before the big war here started, there were squabbles between uh, some Russian influence and local militias.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Exactly right about that. So we'll see. There are big things that they both want, and I think they can get. And I think the only person really proven, the only person to date that's even got as close is Trump. I think he's made for moments like this, and if he can pull this off, I mean, it's historical by every account in terms of being able to pull
Yeah.
this off. So, but I'm going to go deeper on a column, and Joel have an opinion piece poem on it on the 29th. So a week from this Friday. It takes a lot to understand this, and so for me, one, we have an obligation to understand. Number two, just as a political, not junkie, so to speak, but a political. I like politics and I like to understand what's going on in the world. This is something that we really, really ought to pay close attention to. All right, Sammy, random thoughts for today. What do you have? Number
Alrighty.
one.
Number one. This might just be me, but whenever I'm down or feeling down or sad, cleaning makes me happy.
Well, it's
That might be a
obviously you're not
surprise.
down very often.
We
Have
just
you seen his office?
Have you seen his room?
okay.
He's never not happy.
I'm
Number
not
two.
ever in my room. Number two, reality TV is some of the best TV.
Why do you say that?
Big Brother. I love Big Brother. It's awesome. Number three, Russell will lead the Giants to the playoffs.
Oh my, I'm all right, right here. Everybody watch Terry, you listening to this? And Terry says, We didn't read this earlier, but Jerry needs to be thinking about another 2 quarterback. You're right, Terry. But did you hear? Go ahead and say it again. Terry, listen.
Russell Wilson will lead the Giants to the playoffs.
All right, so Terry, you heard that right. Jeff heard it, obviously. I heard it. I'm willing to say $100. Here I am betting with my son. My dad would be kicking my butt right now.
$100.
All right, so we got a $5 deal on every game that Jackson Darts starts and Russell Wilson
Yeah.
starts. I'll win that one. And then so $100 right here on Russell Wilson will not take the
Okay,
Giants
I'll
to the
take
playoffs.
that.
Did he take them Seattle to the Super Bowl?
Yeah, but I
Yeah.
used to have
But
full head of hair.
but he didn't win that Super Bowl.
No, he threw an interception in that 1 minute to go.
It wasn't his fault.
When did you become in love with Russell Wilson?
I'm just defending my position.
All right, move on.
Driving alone is very peaceful. I did it 2 times this week, and I loved
you
it.
did. You went up to Sherman.
Yep,
Yeah.
about 2 hours. This is a bold one of the bolder ones I've said, but you probably heard it before. Cats are better pets than dogs. I'm just saying that straight up.
Well, that's
You're gonna get us canceled, Sammy.
They are.
No, why?
They clean themselves. They go to the bathrooms by themselves. They don't really bother you. They don't do anything wrong, and they cuddle with you.
and they shit and pee in your house. I don't care if it's
You can't swear.
But
shit swear.
but yes, they do.
Yeah, they do.
That was Jeff that said that, not Scott. So my church friends, that was Jeff. Pray for him.
Pray for
Wasn't
him.
me.
And the last one.
Pee you.
I know my dad's gonna love this. Steph Curry is the GOAT point guard, and we can go on.
Yeah.
He is, and you know it.
Anyway, Magic Johnson is, but the cat
Well,
thing.
we may have to take away his privilege on this because
We may.
he gets that one in his number 5 every time.
No,
That's
I
number
had
6.
6. I had 6.
6. No, I mean every week you have this chance. You always get that in there.
Yeah, it's annoying.
Well, what did you want to
We
say
like
about
fresh material.
What did you?
Well,
what?
cats aren't.
The cat one's old
You've never
material.
had
Let's
one.
take
The
a
cat one's
poll.
old material
Well,
too.
I tell you what. Here's a.
You never had one.
This afternoon, you post a discussion on today's show. We're taking a poll. Are cats or dogs better pets?
Okay.
Do that.
And if you state it that way, you know,
Yeah, don't state it so it leans towards you.
When you talk about leading the witness, you're giving cats the advantage by stating them first, but we don't care if you do that
Yeah.
because we're pretty confident
Yeah.
it won't go that way. So go ahead
You
and
just
state it
can't
just
say,
that way.
I will.
You just
Don't
can't
don't
say,
lead the witness.
You
though.
all don't you all agree with me that cats are better pets?
No.
No, you have to say.
Say it in a partial fashion.
Hockey
Okay.
dude says, "Oops."
Oops.
Yeah, oops is right, hockey dude. Anyway, anything else, Sammy?
No, you heard the Steph is the GOAT point guard, right?
Yeah, I heard
Okay.
that. Yeah, he's a goat, all right. Anyway, he said, should we get rid? Oh, I need to re-say that. Should we get rid of mail-in voting and machine voting in America? What say you, Jeffrey?
Well, I say that the mail-in voting is so fraught with opportunities for fraud, and I was talking about this with Rita the other day, and we were saying I don't know exactly whose list or whatever, but we get mail. All 3 of her sons who have never lived.
They've never lived at your house?
Never lived in our address. In our previous address, I was getting them. It was both. She was getting them, and I was getting them for my daughter, who had never lived there. And so I did a little looking up on what are the factors that would allow you to even have mail-in voting.
Yeah.
So over 65, sick or disabled. When you say disabled, that's qualifiable. Sick, I don't know how we validate that in any fashion.
Yeah.
Out of country on the date of the election and all of the early voting period time. Birth due within 3 weeks. And in jail, but still eligible. And
those are current.
those are the criteria that would allow you
to
to have mail-in voting.
Oh, that's what
Okay.
mail-in voting can only come from those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as for validation, okay, remember this: when you go in person, they don't want your voter's card anymore. They just want your license.
Yeah.
But you know what? They look at that driver's license and they go, "Mr. Brooke, Mr. Brooks, are you really only 21 years old? Or Sammy goes in and says, Sammy, are you really 58 years old?
Yeah.
Or your name is Jeffrey and you're a woman? I
Yeah.
mean, all this isn't working out. So you need the driver's license, and it can be expired up to 4 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
a Texas personal ID card, or an election and ID certificate. And then on a related note, I heard today that this was about the death in Florida by the guy from California, the illegal immigrant. Okay, well, he had a California driver's license, and do you know that California allows illegal immigrants to have a driver's license, and it's estimated that 1 million illegal immigrants have a Florida, a California
Mm.
driver's license,
Yeah.
and so there's a quick million in
Yeah.
California that can vote after they bamboozle their way into one of those.
Yeah, I mean,
Criteria.
it's a big step, and I hope Trump pulls it off. People like Gavin Newsom, J.B. Pritzker, the governor of Illinois, just now announced yesterday, I think, that they're going to start giving financial aid to illegal immigrants. I mean, this is insanity, and the reason they do it is because of what we're talking about here. They want those people to be able to vote. They're a voting bloc. And so they're going to do whatever they can, as stupid, as illegal, as dangerous, as whatever you want to call it, it is. That's what the left is willing to do. And so Trump has said, no more. If we're going to have, we got to have integrity. If a country doesn't have election integrity, a country doesn't have a country. It's not, doesn't have sovereignty. Yes, Sam?
You said, should we get rid of mail-in and machine voting?
Yeah.
This might be dumb, but how else do you vote?
Well,
In person.
Yeah,
Yeah,
isn't
back-
that machine voting? You
No.
go to the machine and vote?
No. Well, that's how you do now. It used to be before the machines is that you would go to a voting, whatever they call them, center
Yeah.
Polling
place,
place, yeah.
and you would be handed a paper ballot, and you would either by any over the years it's changed, evolved, but you could poke a hole in who you're voting for, you could check by who you're voting for, you fill that all out, then you turn it into the person at the voting center.
So I guess my question is, if we got rid of mail-in and machine, how else would we vote?
That way. So what I just
Oh,
said.
wait, okay.
Right now we don't have any
Oh,
paper balloting.
okay.
You go into a voting
On
center
computer.
and you go in and you do the computer. Did I take you that one time with me?
Yeah, but I wasn't allowed to, but yeah.
Yeah.
I
Oh
will.
yeah. That's okay. But so it's just a machine, but machines can be hacked, can be whatever,
I see.
which the claim is that in 2020
Yeah.
they were. And then you have the mail-in, which, as Jeff just said, if you get, using that example, so you get in the mail 3 ballots for each of your children. You can fill them out however you want to and send them back. They're not going to have any proof whatsoever that your kids did that. And empty ballots can be stolen. They were stolen, harvested. They were then put in big bags and then dumped in. I mean, people were caught on camera dumping mass ballots that weren't filled out by any living person and they were filled out by somebody, but not the person that it was written on that they were, and they were dumped in mailboxes. It's absurd.
Right.
It is absurd. So we go back to paper balloting,
Paper.
which means you just fill out the paper,
And that would be our
turn it
only
in
way.
that day. Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, hockey dude. Who's hockey dude that's sending you in
I don't
here?
know. I think he said oops to your little cuss
He did
word.
He
say-
did. He did. Well, we're
He
glad
said-
you're here for sure. We love hockey, dude.
What did he say oops about?
You swore.
Oh,
You're gonna get the FFA or whatever FAA after us or FFC.
Do we,
Lord
well,
have Jeff Lynch swore I didn't.
it's not as
um,
bad as what I heard Beto saying in Fort
No,
Worth
I'm
the
not.
other
You
day.
can swear
Beto
on
said
here.
it.
Okay.
Yeah, but we don't. We're
Beto,
good. We're
excuse
good
me,
guys.
Beto.
So because we're about to have a column on swearing, on what happened to statesmanship in America.
Right.
Anyway, so there you have it. That is what's going on. Trump is a couple of things I did want to tell you that Trump said. I'm going to lead a movement to get rid of mail-in ballots as well as seriously controversial voting machines. He said he would sign an executive order in advance of the 2026 midterm elections. So that's what he was talking about. Remember, the states are merely an agent for the federal government in counting and tabulating the votes. They must do what the federal government, as represented by the President of the United States, tells them for the good of our country to do.
I don't think that applies to every local election.
No, it's just federal.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but if we have federal elections that are only paper ballots, as a media company, I'll be advocating we do it at all levels. So there you have it. Very important subject. We'll see what happens as 25 begins to end. All right. So there you have it for those topics today. Rhyme time. What do we got, boys?
You know, I had gotten to where I'd done so many hockey poems early in the Stanley Cup. I said I wouldn't do any more, but this one is a little bit different, and I was mindful of this on my trip up to Syracuse, and I was talking to a number of people. I was talking to those in their teens and 20s that were still playing some hockey, and I talked to a guy that was 67, and he still goes out and he goes to stick and puck, which is just going out there and playing around, but not in a game. And he goes to some open skating, and I keep thinking, well, I do still occasionally get dreams about skating and playing, and um but Rita's doing a good job of convincing me that that's just another way for me to think about hurting myself. So
Yeah.
I'm really torn. But it reminded me of a time in my life after I was done playing hockey. I still had the itch, and I remember starting to watch sled hockey in international competition, and everybody should go watch it sometimes. Go to YouTube and go to sled hockey. And the U.S. had some great teams, including one of the gold medalists that has 2 gold medals played for this local team.
Yeah.
And so I heard that they need a little help at their practices, like shagging down loose pucks and things like
Right.
that. So I started doing a little coaching of sled hockey, and I loved it very much. And
Cool.
and so this is a little poem called um, "Skating While Sitting." Sled hockey is quite a game to see, without use of legs, skating fast and free. Imagine the finest skater in Texas, over 300 pounds, coaching people who are sled bound. I was still a big guy when I was doing this.
Yeah.
It might seem like an odd match, but if you ask me, it was a natch. I was there to chase down stray pucks and teach them some hockey tricks. Eager to learn, they had energy to burn. We dressed in the same locker room, full of crutches, prosthetics, and wheelchairs. They with their sleds, I with my skates, bonded by hockey. We became mates. They appreciated my help, yet it was I who got the help. More than a great workout on a big body in need of help, I got some perspective of life and the true meaning of strife. Move on, live on, skate on, carry on.
Very good.
Thank
Very,
you.
very good. Paralympics, isn't that the way Paralympics hockey players
Yeah,
play
that's how they
skating?
do it.
Is their sled the same way?
Yeah,
Yeah.
these are the same sleds.
Yeah.
You sit down in them. They got runners on the front. They got runners on the back. You watch it. You'll love it.
Cool. Very good. All right, it's time for this day in history.
Okay.
I'm coming off of a Booyah performance last Thursday. Let's see if y'all can keep up.
I'd love to see a strong performance. I went 8-3 largely because I picked up a number of bonuses, and you've got some opportunities. You're going to have 2 bonus opportunities on the first one.
Okay.
I got both the bonuses, and I missed the year by a little bit. Here we go. 4 men and 1 woman were hanged after being convicted of witchcraft at blank. It's a city,
Salem.
Salem,
Booyah.
Wow.
in the province of Massachusetts Bay. The story of one of the great men, John Proctor, inspired Arthur Miller's play blank.
19 something. I'm not saying the
Oh,
year.
okay. Yeah, let's
Uh,
get the
no,
year, and then we'll go.
No, I'm not saying the year. I thought the play was
The play was here in modern times.
I know, but I thought the play's title had to do with
No,
19
the play
witches or something.
happened to
I don't witches.
no.
What?
The play was The Crucible.
Oh, nice.
which is
Crucible.
required reading in many
Yeah.
high schools.
Wow.
And so the year was
1862.
1899.
1692.
I missed it by that much.
You sure you said that right, Jeff?
I'm positive. When Rita and I were on a honeymoon and we spent a night in Salem and we went all over the graveyards and we learned a lot of things about it. And
Yeah,
yeah,
that's.
there was.
I spent a Halloween night
Oh,
in
they love
Salem.
their Halloween.
Yeah, I spent a night there
Everything's wicked up there.
in Salem,
Wicked.
Mass.
Here we go. During the War of 1812, British forces landed in Benedict, Maryland, with the objective of capturing Washington, D.C., which had already become the capital. We talked about it.
Yeah, we did.
Okay.
1812.
1812.
1814.
Oh, that's stupid.
That question was weird.
Well, I put 13 because I didn't think it.
You didn't think it would be that
I didn't
obvious.
think. Well, I
did you?
didn't think it was a 1-year war. We're already into August. I thought it was. So I went 13. It was 14. So
Okay.
y'all still got your points.
Yeah,
Yep.
we did. We did.
No bonus given. Here we go. 31 U.S. soldiers were killed after one of the soldiers fatally thought Brule Lakota chief Conquering Bear, sparking the first Sioux War.
What was the date?
1884.
1814 was our last date.
No.
This is the
1883. What'd you say?
84.
1854.
Ah.
2 and 2.
Here we go.
All right. Let's hear it.
This is important. This is important about if you have freedom and democracy, pick the right people.
Yeah.
Because German voters approved the vesting of sole executive power to Adolf Hitler. Can you believe they gave him
gave it to him.
they elected and then look what he did, man.
Yeah.
But it all started with their election of him.
Yeah.
Wow.
1918? No.
19. That would have been in 1933.
34.
When was Hitler? Or who did you just say?
Hitler
Adolf
died.
Hitler.
Adolf Hitler. When was
Hitler
he?
died in 38, I think, or 39.
No. He died in 45, right before the end of the war.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So his time is
He's
in
the
the
one that
late 30s,
Okay.
40s.
he and Mussolini really before too much Japanese involvement. It was a European war, and he was the one. He was the one, and he was the one that. I mean, the Olympics were in 36 when Jesse Owens won it, and there was controversy about whether we should be there, and we
Yeah.
decided, well, we had to be there,
Right.
and then there's a deal about he said he wasn't interested in bowing before the king,
Yeah.
and he wins 2 gold medals. I don't know, did he ever bow in front of the king?
don't think
I don't
so.
remember how that worked out.
I don't think so.
All right. Torrential rains caused by Hurricane Diane resulted in severe flooding in the northeastern U.S., claiming some 200 lives.
1971.
1969.
1955, the year I was
Gosh.
born.
Mhm.
Okay, there is a bonus available here. I'm sure Sam would not know of it. Come through for me.
All right.
Come through,
I'll
please.
do my best.
A tribunal in Moscow convicted American YouTube pilot blank of espionage, though sentenced 10 years to life imprisonment. Blank was returned to the United States as part of a prisoner exchange. American YouTube pilot.
I only know of one prisoner exchange. But that's probably not it.
I'm sitting here.
I'm going to go
Edward somebody.
1988.
Yeah, I don't know the name.
The year's 1960. I'm going to give you a little half-point opportunity to give first, middle, and last name. If I said Francis Gary Powers. Francis. I got the bonus. I was proud of it.
Very good. I got lost.
Here we go. And the last one is the last American combat brigade exited Iraq 7 years and 5 months after a U.S.-led invasion marked the beginning of the Iraq War.
Jeez.
2008.
2005.
2010. You guys all
Got
still
it.
got it.
4 and 4
4
today.
4.
I got 2
Those
right.
are tough. Yeah.
Jeez.
All right. So there you have it. We'll be back on Thursday. Oh, I got to read my facts that sound like you know what. This is a good one for you boys here.
Try it out.
True or false? Tom Brady picked 100, number 199, was the lowest drafted quarterback to lead his team to a Super Bowl victory. True or false?
I think they're all true.
We've had some falls, and
Was Tom Brady the lowest drafted quarterback to ever lead a team to the Super Bowl?
Yes.
I'm going no.
False. In fact, several winning quarterbacks were drafted lower than Brady. Brad Johnson was drafted number 227. Kurt Warner
That's the one I
was
was
not
thinking of.
drafted at all. Steve Young was also not drafted at all because he chose to join the United States Football League. Otherwise, he would have been a top pick, but he didn't get drafted.
Okay.
So you have at least 3 quarterbacks who were lower than Tom Brady to go to a Super Bowl. Interesting, huh?
Interesting.
Well, we don't keep records. I've been pretty good on those.
Yeah, you have. We don't keep records on those, though.
No.
Anyway, thank you for being with us. We'll be back on Thursday at noontime. Until then, check us out on Substack.com under Grit and Good News. You'll find a lot of stuff there. So thank you for being with us today. And
Have a great day and put a smile on someone's face. And we hope we have done that for you today.
Amen.
Amen.